The first 10 questions are beginner level. You'll see 3 sentences, and you should choose the one that uses English correctly. Ready? Question 1. He have a new car. He has a new car.
Correct one.
He has new car.
B.
He has a new car is correct. In the simple present tense, we use has with he, she, and it, and have with I, you, we, and they. He has a new car. Question 2. Emily lives in New York. Emily lives at New York. Emily lives on New York.
First one, Emily lives in New York.
Emily lives in New York is correct. When talking about where someone lives, we use in for cities, states, and countries, and on for streets or floors. Emily lives in New York, but she lives on 3rd Street. Question 3. I doesn't like boring books. I not like boring books.
तीसरा, third one.
I don't like
Third one.
boring books.
Third one. Third one. Third one.
I don't like boring books is correct. To make a sentence negative in the simple present tense, we use don't for I, you, we, and they, and doesn't for he, she, and it. I don't like boring books. Question 4. The man sings very loud. The man sings very loudly. The man sings very louding.
The first one, the man sings very loud.
The man sings very loudly is correct. In this sentence, the word loudly describes how the man sings. That means it's an adverb. And to make an adjective into an adverb, we add the ending ly. Slowly, carefully, loudly. Question 5. Are you going to call her tomorrow? Are you going calling her tomorrow? Are you going call her tomorrow?
The first one, are you going to call her tomorrow?
Are you going to call her tomorrow is correct. When talking about future plans in English, we use going to followed by the base form of the verb, as in going to see, going to meet, or going to call her tomorrow. Question 6. Where is the most closer subway station? Where is the most close subway station? Where is the closest subway station?
C. Where is the closest subway station?
Where is the closest subway station is correct. In this sentence, we're using the superlative form of an adjective, so we add the ending est. Oldest, newest, closest. For superlatives, we only use the word most when an adjective has 3 or more syllables. Most different, most important, most unbelievable. For that reason, option 2 is incorrect. Question 7. Did you work yesterday? Did you worked yesterday? Do you work yesterday?
If you're talking about yesterday, then A. Did you work yesterday?
Did you work yesterday is correct. In this sentence, we have a past marker word, yesterday, which means we should use the past simple tense. And to ask a question in the past simple, we use did. Did she eat? Did they go? Did you work yesterday? Question 8. James can to speak English. James can speaks English. James can speak English.
C. James can speak English.
James can speak English is correct. Can is a modal verb along with could, may, might, should, will, would, and must. When a modal verb is followed by another verb, we don't use the infinitive form. Instead, we use the base form. I should go. You might eat. James can speak English. Question 9. I started learning French before 7 years. I started learning French 7 years ago. I started learning French the last 7 years.
B.
I started learning French 7 years ago is correct. When talking about a moment in the past when something began, changed, or ended, we use the word ago. She finished her homework an hour ago. He died a month ago. I started learning French 7 years ago. Question 10. There is some coffee in my cup. There are some coffees in my cup. There is many coffee in my cup.
A. Obviously A. B and C looks very awkward.
There is some coffee in my cup is correct. Coffee is an uncountable noun like water, milk, or gas. So when talking about quantities of coffee, we can't use articles like a or the because they refer to a single item. Likewise, we can't use many because it refers to multiple items. Congratulations, you've now finished the beginner
10
portion of the
questions.
test. If you answered 6 or more of those questions correctly, your English is likely level A1 or above. If you answered at least 9 questions correctly, your English is probably level A2.
A2.
Nicely done. And if you're looking for an app to improve your
I am
English, I
A2.
recommend checking out Promova. Promova is a comprehensive English learning app, and it has courses for students at Evova. Nicely
A2
done.
means?
And if you're looking at questions correctly,
A2 means elementary.
your English is probably level A2. Nicely done. And if you're looking for an app to improve your English, I recommend checking out Promova. Promova is a comprehensive English learning app, and it has courses for goals. You will just find native practice what you've learned. Subscription to Promova. And now, back to the test. The following questions are intermediate level. Select a sentence that uses English correctly. Ready? Question 1. Have you finished your homework? Did you finish your homework? Do you finished your homework?
Did you is not a correct one. Do you finish is obviously not a correct one. A is the correct answer.
Have you finished your homework is correct. In this sentence, we're talking about the past, but there's no specific time mentioned, so we need the present perfect tense. Have you finished your homework? Question 2. My father takes a 3-mile walk every day. My father takes a 3 miles walk every day. My father takes 3 miles walks every day.
C is not correct. A and B. Wait. My father takes a 3-mile walk every day. My father takes a 3 miles walk. What's the difference? 3 miles. A 3-mile walk. Obviously 3 mile is not a correct one. So B.
My father takes a 3-mile walk every day is correct. In English, we can connect 2 words with a hyphen to create a compound adjective. A well-dressed man, a part-time job, a first-class ticket. But remember that English adjectives are always singular, so a 3-mile walk is correct. Question 3. Eric asked his boss to get a raise. Eric asked his boss to have a raise. Eric asked his boss for a raise.
Every sentence looks correct. Eric asked his boss to get a raise. Eric asked his boss to have a raise. Eric asked his boss for a raise. C. But I'm not like.
Eric asked his boss for a raise is correct. In this sentence, we're dealing with a collocation, words that often go together in English. And the collocation for a raise is to ask for. Eric asked his boss for a raise. Question 4. If I eat too much, I'd be sick. If I eat too much, I'll be sick. If I eat too much, I'd have been sick.
B.
If I eat too much, I'll be sick is correct. In this sentence, we're talking about a condition that might actually happen. So we need to use the first conditional structure, which is if plus present simple tense followed by an outcome in the future tense. If Sarah misses the bus, she'll be late. If you study for the quiz, you'll get an A. If I eat too much, I'll be sick. Question 5. My brother hasn't gone skydiving, and so have I. My brother hasn't gone skydiving, and so haven't I. My brother hasn't gone skydiving, and neither have I.
A, B and C both are incorrect.
My brother hasn't gone skydiving, and neither have I is correct. We use so and neither when restating a phrase with a new subject. We use so for positive phrases and neither for negative phrases, as in, my sister likes sushi, and so do I. My brother hasn't gone skydiving, and neither have I.
Okay.
Question 6.
Great.
The car broke off while we were driving. The car broke out while we were driving. The car broke down while we were driving.
C.
The car broke down while we were driving is correct. To break down is a phrasal verb meaning to stop functioning or working, and is often used when talking about cars. To break off describes a piece of something becoming detached from the whole, as in, he broke off a piece of his candy bar. And to break out means to escape, as in, the inmates broke out of prison. Question 7. The new neighbors moved in another day. The new neighbors moved in the other day. The new neighbors moved in some other day.
B. B is the correct answer.
The new neighbors moved in the other day is correct. In English, we use the phrase the other day to describe an event that happened at a general time in the recent past. I met her for the first time the other day. He lost his keys the other day. The new neighbors moved in the other day. Question 8. If I were you, I wouldn't worry too much about it. If I were you, I won't worry too much about it. If I were you, I wasn't worrying too much about it.
A. A is the correct one.
If I were you, I wouldn't worry too much about it is correct. This
Because
is
of the
another
would.
conditional phrase, but this time the condition is imaginary or unreal. So we need the second conditional, which is if plus past tense, followed by would plus the base form of the verb. If he were a billionaire, he would buy a yacht. If she wanted a dog, she would get one. If I were you, I wouldn't worry too much about it. Question 9. When Bridget was a kid, she was used to play soccer. When Bridget was a kid, she used to play soccer. When Bridget was a kid, she was used to playing soccer.
B.
When Bridget was a kid, she used to play soccer is correct. We use the phrase used to plus the base form of a verb to describe something that happened regularly in the past. I used to work in an office. They used to live upstairs. She used to play soccer. But be careful not to confuse this with two similar phrases. One, to be used to something, which describes habits, as in, I'm used to getting up at 5 a.m., and two, to get used to something, which expresses that someone has learned to tolerate something unpleasant over time, as in, the water here tastes a bit strange, but you'll get used to it after a while. Question 10. The manager was tired because he was working all day. The manager was tired because he had been working all day. The manager was tired because he worked all day.
That's a tough question. Let me pause the video first. I'm not going with the timer. The manager was tired because he was working all day. It looks okay for me. I mean, like, it looks correct for me. And also, The manager was tired because he had been working all day. A and B both looks correct for me. No, C is correct. C is correct. C is correct. A, B, and C all looks correct for me. But okay, I'm going with C.
The manager was tired because he had been working all day is correct.
Three
The
incorrect
manager was tired
answers.
is a simple past clause, and we're referring to an action that happened over a period of time before that. So we need the past perfect continuous. The manager was tired because he had been working all day. Congratulations, you've now finished the intermediate portion of the test. Did you answer 6 or more questions correctly?
Yes.
Then your English is likely at a B1 level or above. And if you answered 9 or more questions correctly, your English is likely at a B2 level. Great work. Now let's move on to the advanced section of the test.
I'm on B1 because I have 3 incorrect answers and 7 correct answers. So I'm on B1. Okay. It's good, by the way, it's good.
Some of these questions are quite challenging, so don't be discouraged if you don't know all the answers. Just keep going and do your best.
Okay.
Let's begin. Question 1. Fill in the blank.
Okay.
It's a good idea, but it's very impractical, unpractical, non-practical.
Impractical. Impractical.
Impractical, meaning unrealistic or difficult to achieve, is the correct answer. Question 2. Creative people need to think beyond the pale. Creative people need to think in someone else's shoes. Creative people need to think outside the box.
Outside the box.
Creative people need to think outside the box is correct. To think outside the box is an English idiom that means to be original or to come up with fresh ideas. Beyond the pale describes something that's offensive or unacceptable. And to put yourself in someone else's shoes means to try to understand another person's point of view. Question 3. Fill in the blank. After her trip to Germany, she will have visited more than 35 countries. She has visited more than 35 countries. She will have been visiting more than 35 countries.
Let me pause the video first. Oh, pause.
After
I saw the answer. Okay.
her trip to Germany, she will have visited more than 35 countries
Cross.
is correct. In this sentence,
I'm counting this as incorrect answer.
we're talking about an event that will be completed or finished at a given time in the future. The event is visited more than 35 countries. And what's the time? After her trip to Germany. For that reason, we need the future perfect tense. After her trip to Germany, she will have visited more than 35 countries. Question 4. She's going to quit her job. She's completely under it, over it, past it.
Over it. She's completely over it.
She's completely over it is correct. To be over something is a phrasal verb meaning to have lost interest, as in, Jack and Lisa broke up last month, but he's definitely still not over her. Question 5. Fill in the blank. Blank, a team of researchers for a decade, Amanda felt confident in her leadership abilities. Is it leading, having led, or having to lead?
Leading a team of researchers for a decade, Amanda felt confident in her leadership abilities. Leading. A.
Having led is the correct answer. When a sentence begins with a verb, we need to use the gerund form, the ing form, as in, swimming is good for you. Smoking is bad for you. But this gerund refers to the past, so we use the perfect gerund form, having led. Question 6. I don't mean to be precocious, presumptuous, perilous, but I'm not sure that color looks right on you.
I don't even know the meaning of these three words. I don't mean to be. I don't know the meaning of this word, but okay, I'm going with A because I can pronounce it. Precocious. No, presumptuous, perilous. Okay, but I'm going with A. I don't know.
Presumptuous is the correct answer and means to be too bold or outspoken. Question 7. The contract was ready to be signed, but then the client backed up, backed down, backed out.
A and C both looks good, but I'm backed out.
Backed out is correct and is a phrasal verb that means to withdraw from an agreement. To back up is used when describing a car that's moving in reverse, and to back down means to yield in a struggle or conflict. Question 8. Fill in the blank. If Paul blank a bit sooner, he would have arrived on time. Is it had been leaving, had left, or left?
Had left. If Paul had left a bit sooner.
If Paul had left a bit sooner, he would have arrived on time
Two
is
more
correct.
questions.
In this sentence, we're imagining the possible outcome of an unreal situation in the past. For that reason, we know this is the third conditional form. So we use if plus past perfect to describe our unreal condition, and would have plus a past participle to describe our unreal outcome. If they had offered me the job, I would have taken it. If she had run faster, she would have won the race. If Paul had left a bit sooner, he would have arrived on time. Question 9. The new associate didn't really get in trouble. They just gave him a pat on the back, a slap on the wrist, a chip on the shoulder.
A pat on the back. A pat on the back.
A slap on the wrist is correct and is an idiom that means a light punishment. A pat on the back describes a small show of praise or approval. And to have a chip on one's shoulder means to believe that one has been treated unfairly in the past. Question 10. Fill in the blank. The professor asked that her students' responses be blank than 500 words. Is it no shorter, not shorter, or no more short?
No shorter. A.
No shorter than 500 words is correct. When negating a comparative adjective like shorter, bigger, or faster, we use no, as in the sentence, there must be no more and no less than 5 players on the court at all times. Congratulations, you've now finished the advanced section of the test. If you answered 6 or more questions correctly, your English is likely at a C1 level. And if you answered 9 or more questions correctly, your English is probably at a C2 level, close to native fluency. Fantastic work. And if you're not there yet,
I am an advanced level English learner.
don't worry. It takes most students years of dedicated practice to reach a C2 level in English. So just
In the first one, I answered 9 correct answers. 9 correct answers. In the second one, I have done 7 correct answers, and in the third one, 6 correct answers. Great.